My name is Devin Watkins, and I'll be providing the commentary and translation for this papal event. From wherever you're joining us, I'd like to welcome you to this live broadcast. Some of you may be joining us through various Vatican media channels, perhaps the Vatican News app, or the Vatican News web portal, English YouTube channel, or our Facebook live feed. We also welcome all of you who are joining us through our partner broadcasting stations. We especially welcome those of you joining us from EWTN TV, Catholic Faith Network in America, Madha TV, Sultan Light TV, Shalom World TV, Atma Darshan TV, and Catholic TV. We also welcome all of our friends from the Deaf Catholic Youth Initiative for the Americas, DCYIA. Please visit our Vatican News YouTube channel to find translation of this event and many others in American Sign Language or ASL. As we go live this morning, the Holy Father has just pulled up in a Algerian government sedan to the conference center here in Algeria. If you're following us on television, you can see that we do not have images at this very moment. We saw the Holy Father's car arrive, and the Holy Father will be stepping out. He has just met with the President of Algeria, President Abdelmajid Tebboune. The Holy Father began this morning. He left Rome at about 8 o'clock local time and arrived at around 11 o'clock in Algeria, which is an hour behind where we are here in Rome, I believe. The Holy Father spoke briefly with the President for a moment there at the airport, and before heading to the Martyrs Monument, known as the Maqam et Shahid Martyrs Monument in Algiers. At that event, the Holy Father reflected on and paid tribute to the many men who gave their lives in the country's fight for independence from French colonialism, which was in 1954 to 1962. After placing a wreath at the Martyrs' Monument, the Pope's first words were ones of thanksgiving for the opportunity to visit Algeria once again. He said he had already done so twice as a spiritual son of St. Augustine. As we know, the Algeria, modern-day Algeria, is where the St. Augustine exercised his ministry as a bishop of Hippo, which the Holy Father will visit tomorrow. Speaking to the 2,000 people gathered at the Martyrs' Monument, the Pope stressed that he stands with them first and foremost as a brother who is delighted to be able to renew through this meeting the bonds of affection that bring our hearts closer together. The Pope explained that he was seeing the face of a strong and young people as he looked out at the people in the square, and said that at the heart of the Algerian people are friendship, trust, and solidarity, which he said for them are not merely words but values that matter and give warmth and strength to your life together. Looking back at the long history of the country, Pope Leo described it as rich in traditions, but also painful, marked by periods of violence. Precisely thanks to that nobility of spirit that characterizes you, he said, you have been able to overcome these trials with courage and integrity. The visit to the monument was a moment to pay tribute to the history of Algeria and the spirit of those who fought for independence with dignity and sovereignty. With that in mind, the Pope encouraged everyone to remember that peace that is void of conflict is not simply a peace that is void of conflict, but one that is an expression of justice and dignity. And he said, God desires peace for every nation. This type of peace comes only through forgiveness, he said, arguing that It enables everyone to face the future with a reconciled spirit. The true fight for liberation will be won definitively, he said, only when peace in our hearts has finally been achieved. Speaking at the Martyrs' Monument this morning, the Holy Father acknowledged how difficult forgiveness can be. Yet, with ever-growing conflicts around the world, he stressed, we cannot add resentment upon resentment, generation after generation. The future belongs to men and women of peace, urged the Pope. In the end, justice will always win over injustice, and violence will not have the last word, he said. And we see the Holy Father stepping out of the car. And he was greeted by the President. He is at the Djamaa Djazair Conference Center in Algiers. If you hear someone speaking behind my voice, it is the local television broadcaster commentator speaking in Arabic. And the Holy Father has just concluded his meeting with the President of Algeria. They had private talks at the Presidential Palace. And now they are at the conference center where the President will address a few words to the Holy Father. And then the Holy Father will respond with his own appeal to the members of civil society, the diplomatic corps, and the civil leaders of Algeria. And we see that the Holy Father has just arrived and is walking onto the stage with President Djamaa here in the Djamaa Djazair Conference Center. There are around 1,400 people present for this event. The MC welcomes the President and the Pope and all of those present here.
Joël 1447, le 13 avril 2026, est une journée où l'Algérie connut une visite d'État de sa sainteté le pape Léon. Aujourd'hui, le 13 avril...
Algeria is honored by the visit states of His Holiness Pope Leo. وبهذه المناسبة وبحضور ضيف الجزائر الكبير على ركح المركز الثقافي لجامع الجزائر، السيدات والسادة الحضور، أصحاب السعادة، سامي إطارات الأمة، أسرة الإعلام الوطنية والأجنبية، باسمكم جميعا ندعو فضلا السيد عبد المجيد تبون رئيس الجمهورية للتفضل بكلمته. By this occasion, has been between us at the Cultural Center of Jami'a al-Jazair.
MC has welcomed the Holy Father and now invites the President to address the public.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قداسة البابا.
This is President Abdelmajid Tebboune.
أعضاء الوفد الكريم المرافق لقداسة البابا، سيدات والسادة ممثلو السلطات العليا للبلاد
In the name of God, the most gracious, the most merciful, Your Holiness Pope Leo, Your Eminences, distinguished members of Your Holiness's delegation, Excellencies, ambassadors, and representatives of the diplomatic corps accredited to Algeria, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, on behalf of Algeria, its people, its government, and its institutions, I am pleased and honored to extend to you, Your Holiness Pope Leo, the warmest welcome on this land.
أرض الجزائر أرض التاريخ العريق وأرض تلاقي الحضارات.
This is a land of ancient civilizations, a land of encounter and harmony between cultures, and a land of deep-rooted authenticity and enriching and constructive openness. Your presence in our country today constitutes a truly historic event in every sense of the word. Indeed, this is the first visit of its kind since my country's independence. As such, it carries a unique and profound significance and embodies in its very essence the aspirations and ambitions we share.
وهو ما يضفي عليها طابعا فريدا ويجعلها تختزل في فحواها ما نتشاركه من طموحات ونتقاسمه من تطلعات على أكثر من صعيد. فمرحبا بكم قداسة البابا في هذه الأرض الطيبة التي أنجبت القديس Augustine.
And welcome, Your Holiness, to this generous land that gave birth to Saint Augustine, your spiritual father and one of the most luminous minds in the annals of human thought. A native of Tagaste, today's Souk Aras, and Bishop of Hippo, now Annaba, St. Augustine remains a cherished son of this land, which, having been his first cradle, proudly became his initial resting place.
الجزائر تعتز أيما اعتزاز بإرث القديس أغسطس كجزء أصيل ومتأصل في تاريخنا العريق، مثلما تعتز كذلك أيما اعتزاز بإرث مؤسس الدولة الجزائرية الحديثة الأمير عبد القادر.
Algeria cherishes with immense pride the enduring legacy of St. Augustine, an inseparable and profoundly rooted chapter of its history. Really proud of the visionary legacy of the founder of modern Algeria, the Emir Abdelkader, a statesman, a man of profound faith and an enlightened thinker who, far ahead of his time, championed the eternal values of tolerance, dialogue, and peaceful coexistence. Today's world is in great need to draw inspiration from these two shining beacons from the land of Algeria. At a time when transformations are accelerating, challenges are multiplying, and the core values that should guide humanity are fading. In such a delicate and critical moment, the voice of Your Holiness carries a special resonance and profound impact. It embodies the highest human values and conveys noble and uplifting spiritual ideals that speak to the conscience of humanity.
أنتم اليوم قداسة البابا خير نصير للعدالة الاجتماعية.
Today, Your Holiness, you stand as one of the most passionate advocates of social justice at a time when the gap of economic inequality continues to widen dramatically, especially between the North and the South, and when the development disparities are growing ever more pronounced, both between nations and within societies.
الجزائر من أشد الدول حرصاً على العدالة الاجتماعية.
Algeria is most deeply committed to social justice. It was in pursuit of this very ideal that we waged our war of liberation. Since independence, we have made social justice a fundamental and unwavering principle of our development path, a cornerstone of our successive constitutions, and a bedrock of all our national policies to this day.
مع رسالتكم السامية في الدفاع عن كل ما أو عن كل من يفتقر إلى سبيل من سبل العيش الكريم، ونحن نعتبر أنفسنا شركاء لكم في حمل هذه الرسالة السامية. وأنتم اليوم قداسة البابا خير مرافع عن السلام في العالم في وقت تعصف فيه الحروب بأمن واستقرار عديد المناطق عبر العالم.
This commitment resonates fully with your own noble message in defense of all those who lack the means to live with dignity. We see ourselves as your true partners in advancing this noble cause. Today, Your Holiness, you are also the world's most eloquent voice for peace. At a time when conflicts are undermining security and stability in many parts of the globe, especially in the Middle East, we find deep comfort in your courageous position regarding the tragedy in Gaza, the ongoing alarming developments affecting the Palestinian cause as a whole, and the many tragedies that have befallen the Gulf region. Together with Your Holiness and all people of conscience around the world, we call for justice for the Palestinian people, that they may be allowed to receive the humanitarian aid intended for them, that an end be put to the systematic crimes committed against them, and that their inalienable right to an independent and sovereign state be upheld. Our voice joins yours in praying for security and peace in the Gulf region, and for Lebanon to overcome the unjust ordeals it has faced.
وللبنان بتجاوز كل المحن التي ألمت به ظلما وعدوانا. وأنت اليوم قداسة البابا خير حامل لمشعل القيم الإنسانية.
Today, Your Holiness, you are the worthiest bearer of the torch of universal human and spiritual values, freedom, dialogue, and peaceful coexistence.
وهي ملتزمة تماما تمام الالتزام بدعمها والعمل على ترقيتها في مختلف فضاءات.
Algeria fully understands the profound meaning of these authentic values, which lie at the heart of our national identity. We are firmly committed to upholding and promoting them within all the regional spaces to which we belong and far beyond.
والانسجام بتوفيرها الملاذ الآمن لمظلومين والمضطهدين والمحرومين.
Throughout its history, Algeria has been a space of harmony, interaction, and fruitful coexistence. It has offered a safe haven to the oppressed, the persecuted, and the deprived, consistently defended human dignity, and steadfastly stood on the side of just causes across the world, particularly in Africa, Asia, Latin America, and even Europe.
الإيمان بها والتزام بمضامينها والعمل على إحقاقها على الصعيد.
These are unifying values we share with you, Your Holiness, values in which we believe deeply, to which we are committed, and for which we work tirelessly to ensure their triumph at the regional and international levels. The values of social justice, peace, freedom, dialogue, and coexistence. It is on this solid foundation that I reaffirm Algeria's full readiness to continue working hand in hand with Your Holiness to foster understanding over division, dialogue over confrontation, and coexistence and cooperation over hostility and discord.
أرحب بقداستكم ترحيبا حارا أخويا وأشكركم.
Once again, Your Holiness, I bid you the warmest welcome. I thank you for accepting Algeria's invitation, and I commend you for your sincere and untiring efforts for the greater good of our countries, for the greater good of our peoples, and the greater good of all humanity. Thank you for your kind attention. May the peace, mercy, and blessings of God be upon you all.
الشكر لكم سيدي رئيس الجمهورية على ما تفضلتم به من كلمة.
And now the Holy Father will address the President and the authorities, civil society, and diplomatic corps of Algeria.
The speech is yours. السيدات والسادة الحضور، باسمكم جميعا ندعو فضلا قداسة البابا ليو للتفضل بخطابه. For again, Your Holiness, the speech is yours.
Mr. President,
السيد الرئيس، سيداتي وسادتي، السلطات والسلك الدبلوماسي، سيداتي وسادتي، أعرب عن شكري العميق لدعوتي.
Apologies, it seems that we have the local broadcasters translation into French and Arabic over the English spoken by the Holy Father, so I apologize, but I will be rereading the Holy Father's words so that you can hear them in English. Mr. President, distinguished officials and members of the diplomatic corps, ladies and gentlemen, I am deeply grateful for the invitation to visit Algeria, which came at the very beginning of my Petrine ministry, and I thank you for your warm welcome. You know that, as a spiritual son of St. Augustine, I have already visited Djamaa twice, in 2001 and 2013. I am grateful for the mysterious plan of divine providence that has arranged for me to return here as the successor of Peter. I am here among you as a pilgrim of peace, eager to meet the noble Algerian people. We are brothers and sisters, for we have the same Father in heaven. The profound religious sense of the Algerian people fosters a culture of encounter and reconciliation, of which my visit also seeks to be a sign. In a world full of conflicts and misunderstandings, let us meet and strive for mutual understanding, recognizing that we are one family. Today, the simplicity of this awareness is the key to opening many doors that are closed. Dear brothers and sisters, I am likewise here among you as a witness to the peace and hope that the world so ardently desires, and that your people have always sought. Indeed, your people have never been defeated by their trials because they are imbued with a spirit of solidarity, hospitality, and community that is woven into the daily lives of millions of humble and upright people. They are the truly strong ones, to whom the future belongs, those who do not allow themselves to be blinded by power or wealth, and those who refuse to sacrifice the dignity of their fellow citizens for the sake of personal or collective gain. In this regard, I have heard from many how the Algerian people show great generosity toward both their fellow citizens and foreigners. This disposition reflects a hospitality deeply rooted in Arab and Berber communities, a sacred duty which we would hope to find everywhere as a fundamental social value. Similarly, almsgiving, sadaqah, is a common and natural practice among you, even for those of limited means. The word sadaqah can also mean justice, in the sense that we do not keep things for ourselves, but share what we have as a matter of justice. The one who accumulates wealth and remains indifferent to others is unjust. This view of justice is both simple and radical, for it recognizes the image of God in others. Indeed, a religion without mercy and a society without solidarity are a scandal in God's eyes. Yet many societies that consider themselves advanced are plunging ever deeper into inequality and exclusion. Africa knows all too well that people and organizations that dominate others destroy the world, which the Most High has created in order that we might live together. The difficult experiences that you have faced throughout history give your country a particularly important perspective on the global balance of power. If you are able to engage in dialogue regarding the concerns of all, and show solidarity with the sufferings of so many countries near and far, then you will be able to contribute to both envisioning and bringing about greater justice among peoples. By respecting the dignity of everyone and allowing yourselves to be moved by the pain of others, instead of multiplying misunderstandings and conflicts, you can surely become protagonists of a new chapter in history. Today, this is more urgent than ever, in the face of continuous violations of international law and neo-colonial tendencies.
My
predecessors already clearly perceived the epochal significance of this challenge. Benedict XVI observed that the processes of globalization, suitably understood and directed, open up the unprecedented possibility of a large-scale redistribution of wealth. On a worldwide scale, if badly directed, however, they can lead to an increase in poverty and inequality, and could even trigger a global crisis. Pope Francis, drawing on his extensive experience of the tensions present in the global South, highlighted the importance of what can be understood only on the peripheries of the great centers of power and decision-making. He wrote, "What is needed is a model of social, political, and economic participation that can include popular movements and invigorate local, national, and international governing structures with that torrent of moral energy that springs from the excluded in the building of a common destiny. I therefore urge those of you who hold positions of authority in this country not to fear this outlook, but to promote a vibrant, dynamic, and free civil society, in which young people in particular are recognized as capable of helping to broaden the horizon of hope for all. The true strength of a nation lies in the cooperation of everyone in pursuing the common good. Authorities are called not to dominate, but to serve the people and foster their development. Political action thus finds its guiding criterion in justice, without which there can be no authentic peace, and is expressed in the promotion of fair and dignified conditions for all. The Catholic Church, too, through her communities and initiatives, wishes to contribute to the common good of Algeria, strengthening its distinctive identity as a bridge between North and South, and between East and West. The Mediterranean on the one hand and the Sahara on the other represent geographical and spiritual crossroads of immense significance. If we delve into their history, free from simplifications or ideologies, we discover immense treasures of humanity hidden there. For the sea and the desert have been places of mutual enrichment among peoples and cultures for millennia. Woe to us if we turn them into graveyards, where hope also dies. Let us free these tremendous reservoirs of history and of the future from evil. Let us multiply oases of peace. Let us denounce and remove the causes of despair. And let us oppose those who profit from the misfortune of others. For illicit are the gains of those who exploit human life, whose dignity is inviolable. Let us then unite our strength, spiritual energy, intelligence, and resources, so that the land and the sea may become places of life, encounter, and wonder. May their majestic beauty touch our hearts. May their boundless expanse prompt us to reflect on transcendence. The Mediterranean, the Sahara, and the vast sky above them whisper to us that reality surpasses us on all sides, that God is truly great, and that everything lives in His mysterious presence. This insight has enormous consequences for our understanding of reality, yet many today underestimate its significance. On closer inspection, Algerian society too is familiar with the tension between religious sensibility and modern life. Here, as across the world, opposed dynamics of fundamentalism and secularization tend to manifest themselves, causing many to lose an authentic sense of God and of the dignity of all His creatures. Consequently, religious symbols and words can become, on the one hand, blasphemous languages of violence and oppression, or on the other, empty signs in the immense marketplace of consumption that does not satisfy us. These absurd polarizations, however, must not dishearten us. They must be confronted with intelligence. They are a sign that we are living in an extraordinary time of great renewal, in which those who keep their hearts free and their consciences alert can draw from the great spiritual and religious traditions new ways of seeing the world, and an unshakable purpose in life. We must educate people in critical thinking and freedom, in listening and dialogue, and in the trust that leads us to recognize in those who are different fellow travelers and are not threats. We must work toward the healing of memory and reconciliation among former adversaries. This is the gift I desire for you, for Algeria, and for all of its people, upon whom I invoke the abundant blessings of the Most High. Again, my sincere apologies for having to, in a way, translate the Pope's English into English so that you were able to hear it. We had the local broadcaster from whom we're picking up this official feed with their commentator and translator into Arabic. And for that reason, I offer the English rereading of the Pope's words. And we see here the MC thanking the President and the Pope for their addresses and their speeches to the civil society, the diplomatic corps of Algeria.
نرجو منكم التريث ريثما يتسنى للسيد رئيس الجمهورية بمعية ضيف الجزائر مغادرة القاعة. Ladies and gentlemen, for again we are asking you to keep place while the President of the Republic and His Holiness takes power from this room.
And just to recall that later this afternoon, the Holy Father will meet with he will visit the Grand Mosque in Algiers, and then meet with the Algerian Catholic community. The Holy Father will take part in an event with the Algerian community at the cathedral, the Basilica of Our Lady of Africa. That'll be this afternoon, so please join us again later for that event. And with that, we conclude this live broadcast of Pope Leo XIV's meeting with the authorities, civil society, and diplomatic corps of Algeria. Please visit the Vatican News web portal, Facebook, Instagram, X, and YouTube accounts for coverage of today's event and other Vatican and world news. My name is Devin Watkins, and on behalf of Vatican Media, I would like to thank our in-studio audio technician, Bruno Orti, and Thaddeus Jones, our audio coordinator, and all of our media partners on television and radio, and all of you for joining us for this broadcast. Laudetur Jesus Christus, praised be Jesus Christ.
Louis.